Thank you, Sam. So glad to be here today. Welcome, everyone. We're going to talk about those issues that come up on the teller line. Though the teller line is not the exclusive place for tough stuff, my experience has shown me that with turnover and other challenges that come in that lobby drive-through environment, that it's very trying. Plus, lots of people who manage tellers are supervisors that are working a window. So when I became a teller, I definitely needed some supervision and create a little bit of that tough stuff, as well as when I became a manager of tellers, I so wish that I had had training that could help me do that job better than I did. Here's how you can make the most of this experience. Listen for what you need. Many of you that are listening with us live today and that have been with me before on recordings are experienced webinar participants. But just as a fair reminder, listen for what you need. Have your pen in your hand. Discuss this program with other people so that you can help make it stick. That's the idea. I'm going to provide the training. I'm going to ask you to commit to the learning and to using one or more of the ideas or reminders that I'm going to give you today. I have my Do Not Disturb sign on, and my cell phone is where I can see it, but it's not within reach. I'm starting to break out in a sweat a little bit, but I'm going to handle that withdrawal, and I want you to do the same thing. So take some notes. Be prepared to talk about this with your manager, because one of your jobs on the teller line as a supervisor, one of your jobs is to lobby for your tellers and to lobby for what you need with your manager. Here's some of the objectives that I've set for today's program. I want to provide you with knowledge. I want to introduce you to some processes, some key success factors, and most importantly, dialogue techniques. So often, people tell me, I just didn't know what to say. So I'm going to give you some ideas about what to say. I'm going to increase your awareness of some steps that you can take and need to take so that you reduce the amount of tough stuff you're facing all the time. Best practices. That's one of the great benefits of having a webinar, is sharing these ideas with you that I found from people just like you as well as myself about what to do if, what to do when, how to do it, what to say, and some key considerations that always come into play. Facing the tough stuff, what are we talking about? Well, maybe some of you are new at supervising. Maybe some of you have done it so long it's starting to be old hat and you're kind of worn out and you find yourself resenting things that go on that don't get addressed. Maybe somebody you lead expected to get your job. That certainly was an experience that I faced. What about those tellers? Maybe you have one that acts rude or chronically ignores policy or your request or undermines you, leapfrogs right over you. I blogged this week about 4 ways to stink up your reputation, and I really had this webinar on my mind when I was blogging about it, because these are the things that can put a lot of pressure, not just on you, but definitely coworkers who are waiting for someone to address these things. How about your frustration level? Definitely our frustration goes up when, as a manager, we repeatedly watch our tellers be careless or forgetful or defiant. What about when you walk up on a gossip and how hurtful and harmful you know that can be in the workplace? One thing that can make facing tough stuff really tough is if you have limited coaching experience, and I mean that on both sides. I have a coaching practice today, and most people that I coach at every level in a bank tell me it's the first on-purpose coaching they've ever received. And I know that would have been true absolutely for me. When I think about being in your shoes and how this picture would look, this topic about tough stuff, the first thought I had was, how can I help you prevent it? And then, what are we going to do about it? And that's going to have to do with coaching. There are situations that can come up that are so tough that coaching isn't even a part of what needs to happen, but those are the rare and few and far between. And, of course, follow-up. Follow-up is oftentimes the key to minimizing, reducing tough stuff. The tough stuff won't go away. You're always going to have some of it, but you want it to be reasonable. First, let's look at prevention. I created this graphic for you to follow with me about how I think you could get into a pattern of doing things as a supervisor, as a manager, and a few of you that are listening today I know are trainers that train people, especially teller supervisors. Well, the first step that I think always needs to happen, is to create performance expectations and goals. Never assume anything where that's concerned. They need to be created, hopefully collaborated on, then they're communicated and they're confirmed with your teller. Your job then moves into that of monitoring, and you want that to be a mutual responsibility, that the teller is expected to monitor their performance, how well they're meeting or even beating expectations. And then your job on a regular basis is to evaluate the performance by ways of reporting. We know every day about balancing. We know every day about attendance. But there's other things that come into play. So part of your job, without question, even if you're a working supervisor, is to take ownership for all four of these wheels that make building an extraordinary teller line bring it to reality at your location. Well, as you begin to lay the groundwork for success, the groundwork for minimizing tough stuff, let's look here at performance expectations and goals. Consideration of your employee's job description, their tasks, their responsibilities, and performance evaluation criteria. What is the understanding between you and your teller about what they're to do, how well they're to do it, and how often it'll be evaluated? One thing about the business we're in, financial institutions, they ace this job of evaluation. The way we talk about it in the banking world is we talk about our position. What's our position today? What's our deposits, our loans, our assets, our returns on those things? As a manager, you have the same obligation to teach your employee to be a watchdog of their own responsibilities, as well as you to keep your part of the deal, about monitoring where they are in terms of reaching goals, in terms of being successful. Collaborative discussions that set the stage are the cornerstone for expectations and goals. The next step you want to take is a written draft of personalized performance plan. And the reason that I wanted to